Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Sean Arnold.
My name's JD.
And hey, have you heard about jRPGs? Japanese RPGs is a term which is used to describe role-playing games which come from the East, most notably Japan, and they're a particular style of games which usually differ in terms of being a slower pace but more narrative-fulfilling story in a video game. Many examples of jRPGs include the Final Fantasy series, the Tales of series, and there are many others to talk about. But the reason why I wanted to bring up this topic here today is because JD, you and I, we're recording this on Halloween, 31st of October, and over this past week we've been on vacation. We've been on a holiday, taking it easy for a little bit, and normally around this time of the year I often find that games, you know, you get your big releases, but if you're not into those releases like me, I'm not into Call of Duty, I'm not really a big Assassin's Creed fan, this is the time of year where I really like to dip into a good RPG.
Yeah.
Because you got the long Christmas holiday coming up, you know, you're going to relax with the family, take it easy, you know, just unwind, and it's a good time just to get yourself immersed into a good JRPG.
Yeah.
Now, I was on a forum this morning, NeoGaf, and I was reading a thread, I couldn't find it again, but I was reading a thread which basically just asked, are all good JRPGs dead? And he was specifically referring to the fact that in terms of generations, the last generation of PlayStation 3 had very different JRPGs compared to the generation before that. And there were two things which I can kind of relate to from this week. One, you did a really good video on Ni no Kuni. I really enjoyed recording that with you. I don't know when that's going up on the channel, whether that will be up before or after this video. Probably after this video, knowing what you're like and how slow you are with editing.
Well, I'm not as experienced as you are.
Okay, but so it'll probably come up in the future. So when that video comes out, guys, check out that Ni no Kuni video that JD did. It was really good. I think Ni no Kuni is shining a new light on Ni no Kuni for me. I think that's a sleeper RPG that I need to go back and get into. And then there's also the fact that Tales of Systeria came out this week.
Yes, I want to get that game so bad.
Now, you and I, we've been talking about Tales of Systeria, I've been looking at reviews, deciding whether to buy it or not. I've never played a Tales of game. You've played a Tales of game.
Yep.
To me, Tales of felt like the poor... When Tales of started off, Tales always felt like the poor man's Final Fantasy. Because Final Fantasy, as you know, used to be at the top of the game.
Yeah.
It used to have the high production values.
Yep.
And everyone used to love them. Nowadays, though, I think actually good Final Fantasy games are actually dead. I'm not going to count Final Fantasy 14. That kind of is in its own realm, if you want to say. But yeah. But traditional Final Fantasy games, in my opinion, are dead. You and I were going to do a video on Final Fantasy 13, and I was starting to play it again. I was like, I don't like it. I just don't like it, you know. I wish I could say there are good things about it, but I just wasn't having fun going back to it. So I wanted to talk to you about this kind of generational difference, because you are a generation younger than I am. Well, actually, in terms of video games, you're several generations younger than I am. I was raised in the NES era, and then when were you? What was the era that you was around when you were? What, PlayStation 2, GameCube? Wii?
Well, not when I first started. It was PS3, Xbox, and Wii.
So you're around basically last generation, but early of the last generation.
Yeah. The
last generation was a long one. That was a 10-year cycle.
Yeah.
So that did last for a long time. Okay. Now for me, of course, from when I started playing games, the RPGs which came out between then are pretty much all the Final Fantasies up to 12. That's PlayStation 2, and those were the big JRPGs. And then you had other JRPGs around as well, like your Vagrant Story, your Suikoden, your Breath of Fire. Man, I'm going blank, but there's so many that came out between that time. Lots and lots of really great RPGs from the time when I was really young towards the time about when you started getting into gaming. What RPGs stood out for you when you were growing up?
Pokemon's an RPG, right?
It works, and I guess that kind of worked. I should have mentioned Pokemon 2, because Pokemon's been
Yeah, Pokemon was a big one for me when I was growing up. When I was younger, not as much now, but before I used to play. Probably Pokemon's one of my first RPGs.
Right.
And Zelda counts as well, isn't it?
No, Zelda's not an RPG.
What is Zelda then?
It's action adventure. It's very similar, but it's action adventure.
No, it shouldn't be on the RPG section on the game website.
Ooh, what game?
Yeah, well, last time I checked.
I wouldn't consider a game as official, you know.
But Pokemon. What's the first RPG I played? Tales of was the first RPG I played. Tales of Symphonia, Dawn of the New World on the Wii. I got introduced to Tales by a YouTuber that I used to watch. She played. She did a Let's Play of Tales of Vesperia, and since then I've just loved Tales of games.
How many Tales of games have you played?
Tales of Symphonia, Dawn of the New World, Tales of Grace's F, Tales of Cilia, and then I played like Tales of Fantasia on the Game Boy.
Right. So you're into the Tales of franchise.
Yeah.
You like them. You still like them?
Yeah.
So my big question here is for myself, I haven't really been able to get into a really good RPG in a very long time because Final Fantasy was my core, and I don't think there have been many very good Final Fantasies in a long time. But for you yourself, from your perspective, what's your view on jRPGs as a genre? In terms of, say, like, have they dipped in quality for you? Are they better? Would you call the jRPG era dead at all, or is it always just been the same?
It's when you was growing up, were kids in school talking about Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen anymore. Kids in school, and you don't really hear people talking about.
Yeah, it wasn't everyone, but like I remember having a couple of friends who.
No, there's no one like that.
I was like, actually, I would say that I had about. Yeah, I could name at least 6 different people that I grew up with that were into, and not all from the same group, but 6 different people that I could chat to about, say, Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
and
there's not really much of that. There may be in other people's schools, but in mine, nah.
So no one talks about it. So is it kind of like I'm trying to think of an example for myself, but is it kind of like it's a genre which people are aware? Is it kind of that kind of genre where everyone's aware of it, but no one really talks about it? Yeah, I think for me that's more like I don't know. I can't really think of a good comparison to it exactly. Maybe SRPGs, strategy RPGs are like that to me because I'm not into strategy RPGs myself. Okay, but in terms of quality, do you think they've gotten better?
I don't know, because it depends. Final Fantasy, probably not.
But you can't really compare Final Fantasy.
No.
You've never played a Final Fantasy game.
No, but from hearing you talk about how amazing the Final Fantasy 13 was, I'd probably say maybe they've gone down a bit because I don't know.
See, I think like it's unfair. Like I feel like I've kind of influenced you in that way because that's my opinion. My opinion is that Final Fantasy, the franchise Final Fantasy, has gone downhill. But you aren't into Final Fantasy. You're into Tales. Does Tales continuously get better? And other RPGs do. I mean, of course, I'm gonna name the big sleeper, Bravely Default, which is basically a Final Fantasy game, but that was excellent.
Yes.
In both our eyes, that was really, really good. But I feel like I can certainly say that the Japanese RPG genre is not as popular, or still as. See, the thing is, I don't think it's not that fewer people are playing Japanese RPGs. What I think it is that more people are just playing other types of games. There's more people playing video games as a whole, and so more people are just have gone to other types of games, and they're becoming more popular.
Call of Duty and FIFA.
Action games, arcade style games, and I don't blame them, to be honest with you. I mean, over this holiday, I've been looking for RPGs to get into, and I feel like it's a risk of time nowadays. I don't want to get into an RPG and then be so unsatisfied with it. It's not even a question of cost. You know, I just don't want to spend like 20 hours on a game and then find like nothing happens and get bored of it.
True.
And
but then again, it is worth the risk sometimes. I mean, look at Undertale. You loved Undertale,
but Undertale never had that problem. Undertale was good right from the get-go. It was always good. It was never uninteresting. Whereas the reason why I haven't delved into Tales yet is because I heard a review of it, and the person who was writing a review of it said he played the first fifth of the game and it was dead for him. And I watched another review by GameTraders.com, and they also said that it starts off really, really slow, but it gets really, really good towards the end.
I think that's in a lot of them. A lot of them start off slowly.
Yeah, and I'm trying to decide whether to dip my toe in.
Because I think a lot of what happens is they start off, like the main character starts off on a small thing, and it just escalates from there. Yeah. And sometimes the build-up can be a bit slow, but you always get to that big point in the story.
What do you think is the best, and try to do this from your personal opinion, not from what other people have told you. What do you think is the best example of a JRPG right now? It doesn't have to be released recently. Just overall, what is the best JRPG in your eyes?
The best in my eyes?
Yeah.
From what I've played?
Yeah. From what you've played or experienced in somehow. And you just thought, that's quality.
Bravely Default.
Bravely Default?
Yeah.
What attracts you to Bravely Default?
Job system, music, landscapes, good story, good enemies, and they're different. They're not all the same. What else?
I think I would agree with you on that. I think Bravely Default is probably the best example, and I'm glad you listed those things because I feel like that's what's deterring a lot of people from JRPGs is that all the core stuff, all the good gameplay, all the mechanics of building your characters up, developing them in whatever way you want to, comes too late in these games.
Yeah. And
you've got to wait a long time. And then you're stuck with a story, and if you're not sold by the story, you know, you're just going to be bored until you get to the really good parts. That's what the problem with Final Fantasy 13 was, is that you didn't get into the fun part, quote unquote, until 13 chapters into the game.
Jeez.
I know. I've been playing a game recently called Awesome Notes with your brother Leo, and I really, really like that game. It's my first ever time playing a MOBA. The reason why I really like that game, and there's another game you and I have been playing but we can't talk about, is because you go into the game, you got your character, and you just start to level them up, and you get your experience points. You don't have a story in your way. You just focus on just developing your character, and I think I'm really, really enjoying playing a MOBA like that for that kind of RPG satisfaction. But yeah, I just wondered. I mean, obviously these things are about a matter of perspective, and I think it's interesting that someone like yourself, considering how, I don't want to say unpopular, but the state that JRPGs are in right now, it's interesting that I always find it interesting that you are into RPGs still, and I think to those who feel JRPGs are dead, I understand why they say that. I understand why people think they're not as good as they used to be, but I also think, you know, it's just a matter of perspective, really. It's you know, you kind of just got to let yourself open up to different ideas and things.
Personally, I feel like I hope I am the kind of person that's open to try any game. I wouldn't say, JRPG, for example, JRPGs are boring, I don't want to play that, blah blah blah, or that looks so boring. I don't want to say it looks boring. If I play it, I want to be able to say it is boring. I don't want to say it looks boring and then kind of like judge a book by its cover, if you know what I mean.
Okay, well, I think that's really going to do it for today for our discussion video. I just wanted to talk about that, really. It's been on my mind a little bit, and maybe I will pick up Tales of Hysteria. Maybe I'll go into the... What would you recommend as the best Tales game to go into? From
my knowledge...
From you, yes. Which one have you liked the most?
I liked Grace's F the most, but I think Vesperia is the best. Tales of Vesperia on Xbox 360.
Why?
It's just said to be the best. Whenever I listen to reviews, it's always every single game. So like when I listen to a Grace's F review, a Cilia and a Cilia 2 review, they'll always compare to Vesperia, and they always said that they're good, but they're not to the standard that Vesperia was at.
And what was different about Vesperia?
I'm not sure.
Okay,
but
so that's all well and good being compared, and they'd probably be right. There's probably a reason why people say that, but they got to give an example as to why. Like, I could tell you why I think Final Fantasy IX is the best Final Fantasy, and the reason why everyone should start there if they want to play Final Fantasy. But I can't be sold by just this is the best one because everyone else says it's the best one.
Yeah.
But from your experience, you think Grace's F?
Yeah.
That's the one that stands out to you.
Yeah, better than Cilia in my opinion. I haven't played Cilia 2, but I don't even know if I'm saying it right. But
no, you are saying it right. I think that's how it's said. Alright guys, well that's going to be it for our discussion video today. Thank you for listening to Hey Have You Heard? And what do you think about jRPGs? Do you think they're dead? Do you think they are the golden age is gone? And with titles like Final Fantasy VII Remake and Final Fantasy 15 on the way, and I'm sure there's going to be Persona 5 as well. I've never touched Persona. Persona 5 coming out next year. Do you think the golden age of jRPGs is going to make a return, or do you think that they are doomed forever to be second to more arcadey style action games? Let me know what you're thinking down in the comments below, and thank you for supporting our channel as always. Much love, take care, and goodbye.
peace.